Teaching students who are there in the classroom comes with a set of challenges. Teaching students who are online come with a set of challenges. Trying to combine the two of them, you've got a whole new set of challenges. And so here's what I want to do in this presentation is to kind of give you some ideas and some adjustments that you can make in order to make it work better for you, in order to be able to bring together those students who are in the classroom and those students who are online together in a way in which the students can all learn. And that's the goal. The goal is that all students have the same opportunity to learn. It may not be the same exact experience for all of them, but you want them to all have the same opportunity. Some of the tools that will help you with this is a document camera or maybe a rotating base that can turn around so you can show everybody. A second device available is also helpful. Headphones for both teacher and students that are in the classroom. Some type of timer that you can display for both students in the classroom and also students online is very helpful. And then, of course, a way to record yourself for those students who aren't there, or in order to give more instructions for the students who are online. Okay, so here's a few other tools that you might think about using. AirServer. An AirServer allows you to connect a device like a Chromebook or a laptop or even an iPad to the teacher's classroom computer. And so if that's not set up, you can contact the help desk about that, or you can talk to your instructional technology coach about how to get that set up. But it'll allow you to be mobile around the classroom. If you need to connect a personal device, we have information for you on how to do this. And then also if the students are having trouble with their Chromebook, there is a way it can be reset. So let's talk about some of those expectations, because when you're trying to combine these two groups, you get a new set of challenges. So you need expectations in order to face that. Such things as you need to have signals that students can use to indicate when it is that they're wanting to talk or when they want to add to the conversation. And because what happens is if everybody tries to speak at once, those who are online will really have a problem understanding what's being said. And if you have more than one student online, they obviously can't all speak at once. And so they need a signal, just like the students in the classroom need a signal in order for everybody to hear each other. And that's part of the problem we run into. And so you got to remember about how many mics you have on and how many speakers you have on. So in a classroom, there really should only be one mic on at a time and also one speaker on at a time. Otherwise, you get that echo. If they're meeting in small groups, it's the same type of challenge there, in which only one mic and one speaker at a time. And so that also adds to just this whole weight factor, and that students need to understand that they're going to have to be patient with each other, and then they're going to need to wait and allow people to turn mics on and off and to turn speakers on and off. And then also, if you are going to meet with virtual students in, say, a small group, the students that are in your classroom need to know that, and they need to have a way to let you know if they need help without just coming up and interrupting that time, because it's important that you meet with them just like it is important that you meet with the students that are in your classroom. And then the last thing is that everyone understands that whether they're online or they're in the classroom, they are part of that class, and they are an important member of that class, and they should be treated with respect, whether they're a virtual student or face-to-face student. So let's look at a couple scenarios here. For example, if you're trying to do whole group, some of the things you might think about is where you place the device that you're going to use to connect on the Google Meet. Not necessarily everybody has to be on that Google Meet in that room. If you can make it work in which all the virtual students can be on just one device, it will work better, because then you don't have the echo problems. But you'll need to think about where's that device going to be in the classroom. If a student in the classroom speaks, is that device going to be able to pick them up? And so towards the center of the classroom is always helpful. Also, how you project to the classroom, is that device able to be rotated, and so that the students that are online can see who is speaking. Using a document camera could even be used for that, to show the entire class. It could become the main camera for your Google Meet instead of the one that's on your laptop or on the Chromebook. Turning on things like closed caption could help the students in the classroom understand what the students online are saying, because the words will also appear across the bottom of the screen. And then, of course, Having, as I mentioned before, a way for students to signal. Things like the Nod app is a great way to do this, is giving those students online a chance to signal that they are ready to add to the conversation or have an answer to the question. So they can click on that and it pops up on the screen for the teacher to see. Just like if the students in the classroom were expected to raise their hand, you can have that there for them. So those are some things to think about with whole group, because like I said, the challenge is everybody being able to hear, everybody being able to see. And so making that device mobile, that's part of the Meet, allows the teacher to rotate it, but also pick it up and move it to different parts of the classroom. If it's a small group that's meeting, those are other problems in which you may want everybody in the small group, if they're all going to be on Meets on their device, to have headphones so that they can hear what is going on. And once again, to take turns using the mic. If it's in a place where the students could all hear each other and then not interrupt others, and let's say you can put everybody who's online onto just one device, then set that up and have it placed so that it can see the rest of the group, so they can be part of it. And that student who's online needs to be part of that group. So give some ideas and some suggestions for that group. So if they're like building something or creating some type of physical product, what could that student online contribute to that? It's just some of those things to think through when you're trying to create small groups. And then, of course, one-on-one. If you're wanting to have a conversation with a student who's online one-on-one, you don't need that conversation to be broadcasted to everyone who's in that class. And so have a set of headphones for yourself so that you can meet with that student. Set up a separate Meet code that you ask that student or put into the chat for that student to join so that you can just talk to them. And this is where that second device would be helpful to be used. And so just a way to talk to that student so that you're just talking to that student instead of that conversation being with everyone in the classroom. We like to have those conversations. When the students are face-to-face, we get close to them. But when they're online, you can't really get close to them. So you have to find other ways in order to not share that conversation with everybody. So here's some questions to ask yourself. Do you have the equipment that you will need in order to be ready for your lesson that day? How will your virtual students reach you if they need help? Do you have something set up? There's a link here in this presentation you can click on with some ideas of how to do that. Do your virtual students know the Meet code that they're going to use in order to join in that class? And a lot of these questions you may already have the answer to, and that's great. You're ahead of the game. Also, have you set up your room so that all students can see and hear during the whole class meet when they're all together? Have you set up the room so that will work? And so these are some questions that you just need to kind of work through and think out and experiment with, because what you try at first may not work, but just keep trying, and eventually you will find something that will work for you. So that is logistics with virtual students and face-to-face students, especially when you're trying to combine the two groups and trying to do something together with them instead of always apart, which I think is a great thing to do because they are part of your class and you want them to feel that and to know that.